Hi friends, Renee Keese here with Carolina Creative. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and here with card making ideas for you. Today I'm going to feature another new set that's coming in the 25 to 2026 annual catalog launching on May 6th. And this is called Impressions Abloom. This is a suite, but today I'm going to focus just on the bundle. So that's this stamp set, which has some very nice sentiments and lots of different flower parts and pieces. And it comes with all these dies. So this allows you to die cut a lot of very intricate flowers and some leaves. It allows you to do some layering. I have used this big oval, and as soon as I flip my camera down, I'm going to show you what I've done. I have die cut with this just a white oval. Today I'm going to focus on just simple stamping. I'm not going to use, it is a suite as I said, but I'm not going to use the designer paper, all that stuff that comes with it. That'll be for another video. So today I want to showcase some of the cool stamps. This is just one of the dies, and I'm going to focus on making a design on this oval. So I'm going to start with some of these flower stamps. And I have gone ahead and put a bunch of these different stamps onto blocks so that I can just flip and clean and ink as I go. Speaking of cleaning, I'm going to use my Stampin' Mist on my scrub pad so that I can clean as I go. So first I'm going to use yellow. And I do have a lot of the new in colors. This is Darling Duckling. So I think I'm going to put a big flower here. And then I'm going to clean that off. I'm going to start just trying to space this out a little bit to see how this comes together. I'm now going to use Timid Tiger. I am coming back to the yellow, so I'm just going to set it aside. So I'm going to use the orange, which is that Timid Tiger, and I'm going to make sure I've got this on there like that. And I think I'm going to put an orange flower just adjacent, but up a little higher. Okay, and I'm going to use that as well because I'll do some flower centers and some different stamping here. So now I'm going to use the smaller flower design, and what I want to do first is I'm going to ink up just what I call the base of the flower, and I actually want to stamp this off. So I've got a piece of paper over there, grid paper. I'm going to put a pink one here. And I'm going to stamp off again, and you'll see why I've elected to do all this stamping off. And maybe a pink one here. And then stamp off again, and maybe one coming off the side, the top here. Okay, so now I'm going to clean that just so I can't get it on anything else. Now the other stamp that I'm using side by side is what I call the details. So it's all the pretty details. I'm inking that up, and now I'm not going to stamp off. So now I've done two-tone stamping using this very same ink pad like that. And this is Strawberry Slush, if I didn't already mention. Let's just turn it around. Okay, so I've got two-tone colors there. I think the next thing I want to do is I'm going to use the same stamp, but I'm going to add some in freesia. Reason being, I'm using a piece, this was laying on my desk. So this is actually out of the beautiful boho, which came with the butterflies. And I am just going to, I'm trying to feature these colors. So I'm picking up on the orange and I'm picking up on the freesia. So I'm going to do the same thing with these smaller flowers. And maybe put one down here. Oh, I didn't stamp it off. I meant to stamp off. And I think it'll still be okay. And then I'm going to put a partial one up here. Okay, so now I'm going to add the details. And again, use that. I will ink this up fully to get that two-tone. And it's that one because I didn't stamp off, isn't quite as bold. But you get the idea. So now I've incorporated a new color. So now this is a little tricky. I've got the flower centers are these tiny little circles, and it's either smooth or it has the stippling in it. So I'm going to mix up my colors again, and first, let's see, I'm going to put a yellow center in this orange daisy looking flower, and I'm going to clean that off. And now I think I'm going to put an orange. Well, let's keep up with the yellow. I'm going to put yellow in these too. Do I want it solid or stippled? I really like the stippling, so I didn't need to clean it. So I'm going to put that there, put this here. Oh, I didn't mean to stamp that there. I was going too fast. I think I can cover it with the orange when I go back over it. Okay, so now that means I'm going to do orange here, but I'm going to do the solid right over the top. Yep, that shows. And then I guess to be consistent, I will do orange, but I'll do the stippling. I'm going to put orange with that pretty freesia. To me, it's a nice pale lavender. Okay. So I've got a sprinkling of flowers, and I think I'm done with these colors. The color that I'm adding now is green, and I did pick Granny Apple Green because of these pretty bright colors. Some are pastel, but the brights, I decided to go with Granny Apple Green. So there is a stem. It's this stamp right here, and I find you can position this into different shapes. So I'm going to put a little bit of curve to this. A little more curve like that. And I'm going to put a stem for that flower. I'm going to clean this off because I want to bend it again. And, well, I could, if I make it go this way, I'm going to put a stem here. And then, no, I do want to clean it. I'm going to try to reach all the way up to that big orange daisy. And, yeah, like that. And what I have found is, because these are, you know, the nice clear stamps, I can, if you're very careful, I can line this up and continue that, that stem like that. So I think I'm going to pick this pink flower and try to put a stem on that. I'm not going to make it very long. I might do it this way and just leave it like that. I'm probably going to put a bow or put something in the middle. I do have a sentiment I'm going to add to this. I picked out from my more messages the other day. I did all that die cutting with cute little messages, and I decided I was just going to use the Miss You because it picks up the orange. So that might just go right across the center here. And I've got a freesia bow to go under this too. So I'm just playing with layout. So the other thing I'm going to add now is leaves. We can't have all these bare stems, and I'm going to stamp off a couple of these. Maybe one over here in a light green. Oh, I don't think I got even pressure on that. That's better. And then gently stamp off here and do another one up here. And then I think I'm going to do a couple full strength, as dark green as I can get, like that. And let's add another leaf down here. I know some of this is going to get covered up, and I'm okay with that. And then I'm going to, because this is essentially stamped off, I'm going to add that there. So now I've got leaves, I've got stems, I've got a little bouquet of flowers. The last thing that I want to do, and I love to do this, but I don't know that I've actually done it on a video. I like to not have a lot of white edges on my cards, on stamped areas. So what I'm going to do is just angle this and roll it through the ink pad. And I'll show you what effect this leaves. The more you angle, the more ink. So if I go straight up, it would be just the edge. I'm trying to put a little more on there, so I'm angling it toward me. And now what you see is just a very subtle edge, but it defines that edge, especially if some of this is going to go on top of a white card base like I'm going to use. It really does make it pop. I could use just a little more color right there. And I got a lot more color right there because I angled it. So I will make that match. Okay, I'm going to give that just a few seconds to dry. What I meant to do while I had this out and had my inks open, and I wasn't thinking ahead, is go ahead and I'm going to duplicate one of these flowers inside. So I think I'm going to do that pretty yellow. It is a daisy looking, but it's got more details to it on this stamp. And I think I'm just going to put that in the corner. Okay, and now to make it match, I'm going to put that orange center on it so it will be identical to what is on the front of the card. It'll look just like this one. But I'm not going to add leaves or anything. I'm just going to make that a separate bloom. Okay, so that's my little bit on the inside. I am not going to stamp a sentiment here. If this is just going to say miss you, chances are good that you're going to write a note inside there instead of wanting a sentiment stamped. So now I'm going to assemble. And I think I'm going to trim. This piece happens to be, it looks like it's a 5-inch. It is. So I want to make my matching mat 5 1/4, which isn't quite the full card. I don't know if you can see the edge of my cutting. Does it show up on video where I've been doing some die cutting with some flowers, so that'll be coming up for another video, but I was having some fun with the dies. So now I'm going to go ahead and mat this, and then I'll start assembling. But what you're seeing is just simple stamping. I have used a bunch of different colors to kind of create my own bouquet, my own design. Let's get that centered up. And now I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. And I can see the red is starting to show. I'm almost out, so good thing is I do have more on hand. I'm going to slide this over to the left because that oval is going to take up, a big chunk of this card. Now, I could pop this up with a lot of dimensionals, but I think I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to simply glue this down flat. And position that. But now my cute little sentiment that said, miss you, I think is going to go, it could go up here. Or, I kind of like it over to the side or down here. Down there, I think I'm liking that even better. And then I could put the bow with the sentiment. I could put the bow with the stamping decision. So first I just saw there they are. I put my inks right on top of all my dimensionals, buried them. So let me grab a couple dimensionals to put behind my sentiment. So that will pop off. And then my last touch here is going to be to add some Wink of Stella, of course. So what was I thinking? Up here, down here, down here. Miss you. Nice sentiment to send to a friend. And then I did grab my glue dots from my bow. Let's put the pretty side up. A lot of times I don't pay any attention, just slap it on there, and I don't know that it matters a whole lot. I think I will just put that on the flowers. Now, to me, that's a little bit long for this style card. Sometimes you like a big bow. This one I just don't think needs such a long tail on the bow. So I'm going to add to all these flowers, give them a little bit of sparkle and shimmer. And then I have to consider, do I want to put gems on here? Do I want a little bling? Or do I just want to leave it? It's kind of busy already, but not in a bad way. I've got my rhinestones right here. So let's just sprinkle a couple rhinestones on there, maybe 3. I like to work in odd numbers. So something is stuck in there. Let me just grab I'm just going to use my fingers. Nothing special here today. A lot of times I will grab my take your pick tool. But like I said, just a sprinkling. Okay, so I have made I stamped my own floral bouquet here. Some of it's going off the card, but it was just simple stamping. I rolled it in ink. I have a little piece of paper behind it. I could have grabbed a sentiment out of this stamp set. I grabbed one out of my More Messages because I had stamped the other day. I have so many different colors and die cut that all at once. So now I have a big selection of fun sentiments. And then I just put a little card, a little stamp and flower on the inside. I did one similar yesterday. I did put thanks on this one, and I did run this through the embossing machine with the folder, and I'll talk about that later. Just the lower half here has some embossing on it, so that's taking it up another notch beyond what I just did. So my card really today was intended to be simple stamping. So thanks for joining me today. Watch for this new bundle and suite coming May 6th. If you like the products and the projects you see here, you can find me at Carolina Creative or hashtag Carolina Creative. I am on the Stampin' Up! Network. It's Renee Keese at StampinUp.net. Thanks for joining me today. Stay tuned for the next video.